I'm a guy that's 24. Each day I build some more. I like episode 7 and episode 8. I'm Rich Boy J. Hello boyos, Rich Boy J here back in with another video, and this is going to be episode 37 of the Starkiller base mock build series. Before we get into the build, I do want to give a very special thanks to those of you who contributed via the live streams. If you guys are not tuning into the live streams, I certainly urge you to do so. It is a great way for you to not only see the mock early, but to also just hang around with the guys, the boyos, talking Star Wars, and occasionally even our love lives. So make sure you guys are tuning into those. First, I want to give a rundown of those of you who contributed to the live streams via Super Chat or Streamlabs donation. So shout out to Kult of Christiansen, On the Brain, StormieBrix, LEGGO BART Train, Wyatt Russell, Ethan Blissett, Alex McBrick, LEGGO MYKE, Brick Plug, and Xavier Sorrent. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for contributing. I really do appreciate it. But this week is a very big week for Starkiller. For one, I finally finished the ROCKWORK in Snoke's hologram room. It has been such a long time coming. I cannot stress to you guys how long this took, but it's finally done. And this week, you're gonna get to see that ROCKWORK being built. So let's go ahead and jump right into the video, guys. All right, guys, first thing I did this week was put together some more of these slabs to basically connect the ROCKWORK to in Snoke's room over there. If you're wondering what that might look like, I actually have one right here that's half done. You can see the rocks are connected to these like 1x8 plates with the rails on them. I had run out of black pieces to actually continue working on these, but a big order of 1x2 black bricks came in that was super helpful. I actually have a decent amount left, which I'm happy about. So this is what I was able to complete, and this is basically all that's left of the slabs for the ROCKWORK, which is awesome. So this week, I'm going to focus heavily on getting this ROCKWORK done. It is such an arduous task. It takes a long time, but I think the end result is phenomenal. So we're going to keep trucking along with this ROCKWORK technique. Let's go ahead and jump into the time lapse. I ain't get to ride in my pod, even though I finally fixed it. I'm stuck here on Coruscant, couldn't see my boy kissed her. I ain't get to hug my mama, couldn't even give her no kisses. Can't see my girl in public cause these senators be snitching. They won't let me on the council, they say it's cause of my temper. When I'm sleeping in my bedroom, I tend to have a vision. Oh my god. Oh my god. They're finally done. I'm so glad they're finally done. These took forever. These ROCKWORK sections took so long, but I'm so happy to finally be done with the ROCKWORK for our Snoke's hologram room and Starkiller base. Like, you guys literally have no idea. It's looking pretty amazing. I think that this technique is awesome. It's something that I had never tried before. It's something I had never really even seen done before. So the fact that this came out so well is just awesome. It makes this work and effort that I put into this worthwhile, and I think you guys are really going to see that once I finally get these installed in the actual build. One thing I'm really happy about is that I had enough parts to actually finish this. About 2 times during this build, I just ran out of our necessary part, and I kind of had to stop. I was halted at that point, but I was able to get through all of this, and I had a decent amount of parts left, which is good because I'm going to have to be doing ROCKWORK for sections down the line. So I'll have a good starting point for that. And also just because I didn't have to wait and place another order. Like I've been telling you guys, I've been wanting to get this done so bad, and the fact that it's finally done makes me very happy. So what I'm actually going to work on right now is getting these installed in the actual build, and by the end of this update, you guys will hopefully have a view of Snoke's room that is completely surrounded by rocks. That was my goal for this episode, and I think it's finally going to happen. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh yes, the rocks finally done. They are mostly installed. The only ones I haven't installed are the ones to these 2 side sections. And the reason for that is because I'm going to be building basically the barrier to the outside. If you can imagine, like, this is going to all basically be a cutout. So I'm gonna have to build some big walls here, and I might actually have to do some connections from this to that wall. So until I get that squared away, I'm not gonna waste time trying to install this and then just tearing it up anyways. But I did set them here so you guys could have a good idea of what this room is going to look like once everything is closed in. And I think the ROCKWORK came out amazing. Like, this is exactly what I envisioned for this, and I'm just so happy to finally see this thing coming together. It's been such a long journey just for this one part of the build, but it was totally worth it, and I think this really just shows you guys that it was. The rockwork looks awesome. I love that it's kind of bookended on either side by these pillars, and it basically just goes like that all the way around the room. If you're wondering why there's all these like colorful bricks exposed under them, those are going to be sections that we work on next week. That's basically, it's going to be covered up. There's going to be lights and stuff down there, so I didn't worry too much about that for this update. I mainly just wanted to get these areas installed so you guys could see what this room is really going to look like when it's all closed in. And I think once you get these up close shots of Snoke looking down at Kylo Ren, and there's actual like walls around them, I think that is just awesome. It looks so good in my opinion. This MOC, this part of the MOC, I mean, this MOC has been a long journey, but this specific part of it is really just turning out so good. One of the things that were especially difficult to do for these were actually trying to figure out how these sections in here were going to be angled. I ended up using some 1x4 hinge plates. I don't know if you guys can see those in there. And that was basically the most optimal way to get a 45-degree angle on those for those walls right there. Every other wall is pretty much just stuck on the studs, so you can see that wall's flat, and then that wall's perpendicular to it, and then same with these two over here that are closest to the front of the build. But once I got that figured out, it actually worked out pretty nicely. The one thing I do actually have to do for this build, and this is also going to be something that I do between now and next week, is fill in the gaps on either sides of that wall. One of the annoying things was that I had built out these walls that were all basically the size of that one, but what I didn't realize was the original I built was actually a bit wider, so I had to go through and basically add a stud's worth of width to either side of the walls, and then that's what actually allowed for them to fill in the gaps between the pillars. You can see it's still not perfect. That's actually just going to be something that I add bricks to behind it, but it's much better than that middle one was, and that's basically how all of them were looking initially. So once I finally got that squared away, the rock work is flowing pretty well, and I am just in awe. Like, this is so freaking cool. I don't think you guys understand how big of an update this is, because these walls took so long. Like, this was such a process. So the fact that I'm mostly done with rock work, absent the width that I'm going to add to that middle one, really does mean a lot. It feels nice that we're mostly done with this room. It feels like just the other day I was getting started with these rings, but now we have the rings, we have the platform where Snoke is sitting, his chair, we got Snoke, we have the walls going around them, and it's really just all coming together to make a beautiful looking MOC. The last thing I did want to talk about was a ceiling, because I was initially considering it. However, having pieced these together, I'm pretty quickly realizing that a ceiling just might not be possible for this entire room, specifically that section back towards Snoke, really just because those pillars, I mean, they're strong enough to hold themselves up, but they aren't really braced like strongly to the MOC, to the base plates that they're connected to, because they're at that weird angle. And if I was to do a ceiling, it wouldn't just be a flat roof. Like, I would kind of want it domed going towards the top, at least some sort of dome. And I have literally no supports in the middle of the room to try to accomplish that at all. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is there's going to be a ceiling towards the front, because these right here, these two pillars are actually pretty solidly connected to the base plate, and those are basically both going to hold up the rooms that are right above this. The rooms above this aren't going to stretch all the way to the back of the build. They're really only going to come back to maybe like here. They're going to basically be a 32 base plates worth of length. So that gives me the opportunity to still have rooms above this, but I don't have to figure out a way to construct an entire ceiling that goes over this entire build. So when you look into it, you'll still see, the important parts of the build, but there's going to be basically just no ceiling. Like, if you look, down into it, you'll just basically see the back wall or whatever's behind that. That could end up being something that I change down the line. I'm certainly not against it, but I think for now, I'm really just ready to move past this room. This room is taking much longer than I would have expected it to, which is fine, because that's the kind of thing you expect when you're doing MOCs like this. But I really would like to just progress with this build and really just get started on these rooms that are going to be above here. I think that if the section that's kind of held up here works out, I can maybe get away with having something kind of like jetting off of it, reaching back towards those pillars, and it'll be a pretty basic ceiling that'll just kind of rest on the rest of the pillars. But for now, I'm really not going to worry about it. I just want to get this room done. So I hope you guys are understanding about that. I think that for the way this thing's looking, I'm pretty happy with it. I don't think not having a complete ceiling is going to make a huge difference when you're especially just looking at this MOC through the viewport that's going to be here. But that's really all I got for you guys this week. This is a pretty big update. Just so much progress has been made on this room, and I think next week you guys are finally going to get to see this room completed. So let's go ahead and go to the end of the video. And that's going to finish the video this week, guys. I hope you enjoyed checking out the progress on Snoke's throne room. I'm super excited because the Snoke room is almost done. It is so close to being complete. I think next week you're going to see it finally 100% completed. The rock work is done. That was the most difficult part about this, getting the pieces and actually just assembling the walls because they were such complex builds. But the fact that it's finally done means so much to me. And please let me know what you guys are thinking of the way that Snoke's room is looking right now, because I am very happy with it. I'd love to know how you guys feel about it. So there are a few things we have to accomplish between now and next week, specifically with this room. We got to get the viewport basically built. That's basically just the walls that kind of sits in front of the room right here. So hopefully we're able to get that done. I'm also going to build the lights. You guys are going to see some lights actually in the build next week. Got to incorporate those to finish off the room. And then finally, just filling in a lot of the gaps to make everything look complete. And then we will have a completed Snoke's hologram room. This is pretty monumental, and I'm so excited to move forward on this build and then start working on some of the more fun rooms on the interior. Like, I plan on starting a cafeteria basically right above this room. So super excited about that. You guys are definitely going to want to tune in to next week's Starkiller base update. But that's going to finish up the video, guys. If you like what I do, go ahead, support the video by hitting the like button, support the channel by smashing that subscribe button, and I'll be back again very soon.